to that event, and then once they told us that it was voted upon and there's no more allowing, we made sure to turn it off because we don't want to do anything illegal, of course.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, see, if there's nothing in the bylaws, and see, that's what I wanted to find out from you, because I know I got to speak to Indy about that shortly, but you had already gotten off the phone. I don't know if you got to hear the rest. If there's nothing in your bylaws, it's basically put to a vote on the floor of the body of the assembly, because it's up to their discretion.
Now, is that General Assembly or is that just these temporary platform meetings?
Well, that would be specified in your bylaws. See, that's another question to refer to your bylaws on. It may just be the people that were there at the committee meetings, or it may be required the body of the assembly of all the delegates. It may be required that it's the body of the entire party that has to vote on it. You know, see, this is why understanding your bylaws are so important.
Yes, you're correct. You are correct, because they go through it word for word, and you are correct on that.
Yeah, so, you know, people, for those of you out there listening, it is extremely important that we become educated on the bylaws and or party rule of the parties that we're in, and we become educated on Robert's Rules of Order. These are the most valuable tools that you have to at the very least be on a fair playing field. Now, as you've heard Brandon state, most of these people, okay, are not even prepared, and these are people sitting on committees. But yet the Ron Paul people are going in as prepared as they possibly can be, and they've got people flabbergasted. This is a travesty of our system. And, you know, Brandon, we applaud people like you getting involved, getting educated. Don't look back on the mistakes you may have made, Brandon. I'm not saying that you have made any, but if you do happen to make some, don't dwell on that. We need you to continue to move forward, and we will slowly take these parties back to where they need to be.
Correct. Now, I have an interesting story. We've met some fellow Ron Paul supporters here, and one of them is he's an ex-Ukrainian Russian, basically. He's been over in the United States for 16 years. He used to live in Chicago, Illinois, and he's moved to Texas. And you can tell it's thick, heavy Russian accent, but he is a avid Ron Paul supporter. He flew. He's been in Odessa, Ukraine, for the past few weeks dealing with the death in the family. He spent over $1,800 just to fly here to go to this event only. He's going to leave this event on Sunday and fly back to the Ukraine to deal with the family death, but he made sure to come to this event. And that is one of the most inspirational stories I've heard yet here. So it's quite amazing. Ron Paul's touched, just everybody from what I'm seeing.
Now, Brandon, when do you actually go into the electing of delegates?
I believe that is, I don't know if that's the first General Assembly that starts on Thursday. Let me look. I've got actually a platform committee book.
Because, see, how many people actually voted at I take it the committees are very small, so it's a very small group of people at this moment, right?
Yes, sir. The National Sovereignty Committee only had 7 people involved with it. That's it.
Okay. You should absolutely revisit. Well, how was your vote? I mean, how many people voted down to have your recording devices?
It was a vast majority.
Okay, so it's basically 6 of 7 or 5 of 7, or?
It was that they took the actual vote with the full 32-member platform committee. That's when they took that vote at the very beginning of everything. Once this started on Monday, that's the first thing they did.
Okay.
So,
what you should do is when you actually get all of your delegates there, when they can participate, someone immediately needs to make a motion to allow recording devices for accuracy. Make sure you use that word. We move to utilize recording devices for the accuracy of this convention. and make it and force it to be put back to a vote where you've got more people that are not your, again, I call them the typical GOP regular party hacks that are doing what they're told. You need to put the vote back into the people's hands. Now, if you do it in the words I just gave you, Brandon, it's not going to look like you're trying to do something, nefarious. It's looking like you want accuracy of your convention, and you may actually be able to record from then on out.
Yes, sir. Okay. All right. I have that noted. Again, that was one of the biggest surprises because, I wanted to make sure we have this documented, just not for any, like you said, nefarious reasons. This is a historical event in our time, and I wanted to make sure that I guess a backup of what we did here, so I can show either my children, my grandkids, or my family what actually we're doing here. And it's hard to do with just a yellow padded notebook paper,
Well, Brandon, I have never, in my 11 years being heavily involved in my party, ever seen any type of recording devices discouraged, because they were always encouraged just for accuracy. So for them not to want recording devices in, to be honest with you, that is very suspicious to me. Why would they be so worried about having recorded devices?
That's the thing, is that some of the committee members posed that question. And the main argument was that it will stifle the debate process. If folks are recording, it will stifle it. It will make it cold, so to speak. And that was the main argument, and folks, I sat there and watched the committee just nod their heads in agreement. Yeah, that's true, and that's true. And so those that were for recording, like I said, it was a small minority.
It will stifle? That was their excuse?
Yeah, it's gonna stifle it. It'll make the debate process cold.
Oh no, I understand. That makes absolutely no sense. That's absurd. Well, if someone has a recording device in the back room, that is basically going to make the entire process cold. Is there no press there, Brandon?
No, I don't think there's any press here. I haven't seen anybody. We're the only ones here, I guess, that are covering this. I mean, I understand that. I guess some folks might not consider us mainstream media, but I don't have a problem with that. We're here making sure that we document this and cover this and let folks know what's actually happening here, because there's no press here. We haven't been interviewed. I haven't seen anybody here at all. So we're here on our own, just like the other Ron Paul supporters from other sections of the state, coming here by themselves and just meeting us, and we're starting to gel. So again, it's interesting to me that there's, like you said, you asked me, there's no press here. There's nobody here yet covering any of this stuff. This is a major event. So.
Well, listen, just hang in there. You're doing exactly what you're supposed to do. It's what our founding fathers wanted us to do, which was to be involved in our local political system. Can
I read you one thing real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
There's in this little booklet that we got, as far as the convention of Houston, it has the suggested committee rules for the platform committee of the Republican Party of Texas 2008 convention. It has 5 issues on this first page, and issue number 5 is electronic devices. No recording devices of any kind, audio or video, shall be allowed in the committee or subcommittee room. Now, from that language, that means we'll be able to record the convention. Is that correct?
Well, it's only specifying the subcommittee rooms, right?
Yes, they shall not be allowed in the committee or subcommittee room. That's it. That's all that.
Oh, well, then you're fine. I would absolutely record when you actually get to your convention.
Okay, good. That makes me feel better. So.
Okay, I wish you'd have brought that up sooner. I almost could have got you in trouble here, Brandon, by having you revisit the vote to allow recording devices. Mm-hmm. There's no need at this point. However, keep in mind, if they try to do the same thing I want you to use the words that I told you.
Okay.
Okay, just stand up and object. Call for point of order and say, I have an objection, and use the words that I gave you.
Yes, sir.